Hi, good morning, beautiful angel, and happy new moon, yes. Today, well, at least today in the US, we're having a beautiful new moon tonight, and it's tomorrow for our European friends at 3:37 a.m. and 12:37 p.m. for our Aussie friends on the other side of the globe. So yeah, I wanted to give you a little full moon update because this full moon is really amazing and lots of joy, new beginnings, and to me it's giving us a kickstart on our big mission here on Earth. So I'll explain more as we go along. We're gonna start. So Tanya Gabriel is one of the main astrologers I follow, and I have a membership with her in which she gave us this beautiful full moon chart. So this was made from her, and I just added a little pink square so we know what we're talking about. So here we can see you have the moon on that other side, which is in Aquarius, and the sun is in Leo. And the sun is actually the ruler of Leo. So it's in its home, so it's even more powerful when a sign is in its home. It's a very powerful connection here with the sun, shining. I mean, Leo is all about, power and raw, like, making itself known, like coming out. And so we're on a full moon on top of it, which is all about culminations. So that in itself, is very powerful. And then we have both the sun and the moon. So we have a full moon, right? They need to be completely 180 degrees apart from each other. And so they are both at exactly 1 degrees of Aquarius and Leo. And so, 1 degree is the beginning, and 1 is the first number, the first motion of spirit, the very beginning. And so there is this slight, even though it's a full moon, which is about culmination, there's also this new beginning energy with the ones that's here for us today. And the full moon, it's kind of having a whole month of impact, right? Until the next full moon. So if you're catching that in a couple of days, no worries. It's still, it's still shining on us. So also, we also have Jupiter in aquincunx, which is 150 degrees. So the sun attracts the opportunities, and Jupiter is, is the great benefactor, is the planet of expansion. And so there is an expansion, a potential financial gain expansion, actually. So it's a good time to manifest more money, for example, and particularly as it relates to others, because Jupiter is in Pisces, and so that's the sign of service. So it could be something actually that you've done in the past as a service to others, and that's bringing the fruits of your labor in the now. So that's exciting. And yeah, it's again a theme of combination with Jupiter, so which, is and Jupiter is, I didn't even see that until now, but it is at 0 degrees, so it's a start, this reset, right? 0 is the resetting energy, and it symbolizes God too. So good to have in Jupiter in God energy. Good weekend ahead. And we also have a beautiful trine between Mercury and Neptune. And so Mercury is the mind planet, right? And Neptune is the dream planet. So your imagination is gonna be enhanced, and you're gonna like to dive deep into, you know, more metaphysical subjects. Your intuition is gonna be on a high, and you know, you can actually see like the big picture and share it with others, which just realizing that's what I'm doing. So you know, please join me in those energies. They're a lot of fun. Also, do we talk about, no, let me go back to that chart first. So I did not make a specific slide about that, but if you look like right here in the corner, like so we have the sun, and then we have Mars and Venus. And so in my own chart, Mars and Venus are opposed, and I don't like this word opposed because it also already makes you feel separate. And in Ayurvedic astrology, they talk about mutual aspects because it's not always bad, right? Like, for example, the Jupiter and Venus opposition, or mutual aspect, we'd say, it's actually Jupiter is it's like Jupiter is looking at Venus and Venus is looking at Jupiter, and so you get an expansion of the beauty. The other side of it is gonna be to be careful about not doing too much, like not overeating, not over drinking, not having too much of a good time. Because so Jupiter is gonna be expanding all the qualities of Venus, which are like beauty and love and attraction. And then we have Mars, which is right next to Venus. And so yeah, in my own chart, Mars and Venus are in a mutual aspect. So I'm particularly, you know, sensitive and intrigued by that. And interestingly enough, I mean, they're a bit different, but, you know, in both opposition or conjunctions, when the planets are close to each other, they are activating each other, right? And so you also have, well, you know, you have this expansion of the beauty and of that energy with Jupiter. There's also the Mars energy, which is all about passion and excitement. And you know, like this, I might have like my Mars color and my Venus mixed together. Well, because I'm a Taurus, so Venus is the ruler of the ruler of Taurus, and so that makes you even more sensitive to the planet that your main sign is the ruler of, right? So anyways, fun weekend ahead, you know, lots of joy, lots of expansion, passion, and, you know, also like the other side of Mars is to not overreact. So, you know, like, I guess there's a, you know, no overacting in the theme of love would be, you know, best. So you can watch for that too, because, you know, all planets have their positive side, and then they have what they call the shadow side. So, and that's not bad. It's just, you know, you have to watch for it. And so next, I want to talk about a little bit of Atlantis, because so I don't know if you know that, but so each age, or Yoda, as they say, is 2,000 years long, approximately, right? So if we go all around the whole astrological wheel, it's 24,000 years. And so the fall of Atlantis, which was 12,000 years ago, is exactly across from where we are now. So we are here right now in Aquarius, and the fall was like all the way on the other side, all across in Leo, right? And so that's what happened in Atlantis during the fall, right? They were all one, which I don't want to go into too much details because I could go on and on with that, but it's so fascinating. They had actually 12 families that were representing of the 12 astrological signs that were guiding Atlantis. Until, you know, well, I guess we're repeating the past. They disagreed on something and decided to fight, and then they ended up destroying the whole well, they tried to destroy each other, but that destroyed the whole field of energy that was going around the Earth, and so that created the big flood and all that. And so we'll be talking about that in more details in my class, but just to give you the cliff notes for now, it's 2,000 years period, and so it was 180 degrees away on the chart from where we are now. And so they were going into Leo as we are going into Aquarius. And, you know, everything happens for a reason. I mean, we know that for many reasons, by the way. But they had no choice, really. The Fall of Atlantis had to happen because we were entering Leo. And, you know, Leo is about the power. We've talked about it before, but it's also the ego. And it's also the, you know, because everybody wants their own power. And instead of, before they were using the power of the universe, and using is not the word, but connecting to the power of the universe, and then with the switch into Leo with the Fall of Atlantis, they became separate. And so to me now, because, yeah, I'm not, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, the importance of Atlantis, and to me it's because we're reversing the process now, right? We're going from separation into oneness instead of from oneness into separation. And so, you know, that's all symbolized with the shift into the age of Aquarius, which happened just a few months ago at the beginning of the year, right? And so to me, this new moon, this full moon, sorry, what did we say? The moon is in Leo and the sun is in Aquarius. And they're at 1 degree, right? They're just beginning, just exactly as we are. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where we are in Aquarius, but, you know, we're probably less than a degree because 2,000 years in 30 degrees, you know, but so we're between 0 and 1. And that was the beginning of Leo too. And so to me, that's triggering this whole mission that we have. You know, to me, it's like kind of ready, set, go. Okay, guys, it's showtime. The spotlight is literally on the moon. The moon is being lit. It is time to go in your mission. It is time to do what you're being brought here to do. It is time, and now is the time to start. And it's, you know, and like, how best to have this like full moon. Oh, I'm feeling so much energy right now in my body. This whole full moon energy, you know, this whole spotlight energy, this whole like go time energy on top of the Aquarius energy and the 1 degree and this, you know, the opposition or the mutual aspect between the two that are the same than Atlantis. I mean, all those things together, to me, it really means go time. Yes. And I might be a tiny biased because most of the planets are actually right now getting very close to where they were when I was born. So for me, this is kind of a rebirth too, you know, and I can tell that for you guys because I haven't seen your chart, but it's very fascinating to look into that, and you can actually find your life purpose. You can find so many information from your chart, and let me just share that because that information really to me was like, wow, that's why it's so I was gonna use a swear word, but that's why it's so accurate. Because what happened is before we come onto the earth, we actually plan what we're gonna be doing on earth this time, you know, so most of us know that by now. But what I didn't know is that what we do is like kind of we shop. It's like we're in a big, that's how Matthias Di Stefano shared it. We're in a big supermarket of geometrical shapes, and we all pick the geometrical shapes that are gonna be us in this new lifetime. And all those geometrical shapes that's what creates your birth chart. So from that, that's when you're like, okay, I'm gonna be born here, there, at that time, so all of that can happen. And so there's your karma, there's your life purpose, there's, the challenges you're gonna have in life, there's the things you're good at, there's like everything is coded in your birth chart. I mean, for me, like the whole Mars Venus opposition, it's to the point where in my chart you can see that and say, okay, you're gonna be marrying somebody from a different culture, up to the body type, like tan skin, skinny, athletic type, and yeah, my husband's from Senegal. And that's been kind of a joke in my life, like, because I've always been attracted to black men, and it's like, well, it was in my chart, people. So anyways, lots of great stuff you can learn from your chart. And oh, sorry, okay, I had one more little thing and then I'll let you go because it's getting longer than I was hoping for. But we are also, which is another ping to Atlantis for me, we're activating the 369 Heart Triad. So I've been learning both from numerology and from listening to Matthias Di Stefano on all those different dimensions. And in both those cases, they talk about this 369 triad. And in numerology, it's actually symbolizing the heart triad, that's the expression triad, that's the emotional triad. So if you have your day of birth or your life number or your destiny numbers that are one of those three, you're likely, to have a life purpose that's around helping others and spreading the love and all that good stuff. And two of my numbers, I have, like my three main numbers, I have 6, 9, and 2. So you can see that there. But what I find fascinating is like when you apply it to the dimensions. Okay, so why 369? Why do we activate it? Because tomorrow technically, but we take universal time because that's the basic time that we are related to, I guess. So 24, it's 2 plus 4, 6, and then July is a 12 universal month, so then you do 12 plus 6, 18, which you'll reduce it to 9, so you do 1 plus 8 equal 9. So just from the date, you already have like 6, 9. So that's the activation. And then if we look at the dimensions, so 3D is symbolized by a triangle, right? 4D is symbolized by a square, so 3D is where we're at. 4D, just very quickly, you add the time, but not you add the time, but so you can move through time instead of moving through space, and so you can pretty much see whatever would have happened if you had made different kind of decisions. So that's kind of like when I heard about it, that made me thought about like the so-called review process. I mean, it's not called like that. I'm not very religious on the basics of it. I'm sorry, but or I'm not sorry. It's just who I am. Actually, I'm gonna be done apologizing for who I am. So that made me thought of the whole judgment, like reviewing your life and all that, which I've heard more of the review actually from Michael. It's this book about lives in between lives, and so they can see what happened in between lives, and that's what you do. Apparently, you review your life and what you've done, and so that's really what the 4D is, among other things. And then you have the 5D. So once you have your square with the 4D, the 5D, you had another point on top, and so that makes this pyramidal shape, right? And so that's when, like that, the high point is pretty much is God. It's the love, the wisdom, and the will of God. And so once you're in 5D, that's where you can start accessing the magic of things to transform your life, right? And the way you do that, okay, I won't. It's gonna go fast because we don't have all day. But when you have the 5D, So to get to 6D, you have the bottom piece. You're doubling, you're adding a point on the other side, which symbolizes the whole polarity, right? So then you have the plus and the minus. And so in order to create, you go through the 6D via the void, the 9D, and so that's why you meditate. That's when you meditate, you can access all those places because you're getting through the void. So you go from the 5D through the void to the 6D, and then to bring back what you want from that, in a nutshell. So, and to me, so this 369, when I heard it was activated, I just had a flash of this shape. And so to me, it's another piece of like, it's time. It's time to get into oneness. It's time to get into 5, 6, 4D. We don't really stay there. When we connect, we more go straight to 5D, and then 6D. That's when we can really make the magic happen. Because then we have access to pretty much everything. We just need to go through the void and go grab it and bring it back. Bam. So, okay, I'm gonna stop here. I'm feeling the full moon. I hope you are too, and I hope you'll enjoy this beautiful space. If you don't know of us yet, we have a show on your Freck channel. I mean, it's a channel on your Freck, and then we have a couple shows a month. We are currently taking a little break for the summer, although I am doing my class, so that's not a complete break for yours truly, but it's all fun, so it does not feel like work. And we just had a spotlight show on the story of creation by looking at the flower of life and what's encoded in the flower of life, and a whole lot of amazing things. I mean, the flower of life, the more I dig into it, and the more it's so fascinating. It's really the representation of oneness and the representation of everything is encoded in it. I mean, I can give it to you in 2 minutes, but everything is really encoded in it. And I've started sharing that on the last spotlight show, so I'll put the link below if you're interested. It's free, and until then, I'll be back to give you another astrological update whenever something fun happens. Maybe the new moon, but maybe before, if we have something juicy before. Okay, I love you, and I wish you a really amazing weekend, and enjoy the full moon. Until next time, remember, on your Freck, or your freak, whichever one you want.